All right, let's take a look at the session. At a glance, what will we be covering today? Land acknowledgement, overview of session, introduction to panelists, frequently asked questions with the panelists, live Q&A where you can submit your own questions, and finally we'll wrap up and have final reminders.
Before we begin, we would like to start with a land acknowledgement, and we do this to express gratitude and to honor the Indigenous people who have lived and worked on this land historically and presently. We would like to begin by acknowledging the Indigenous peoples of all the lands that we are on today. Canadore College is located in Robinson-Huron Treaty Territory, and the land on which we are presenting to you from today is the traditional territory of the Nipissing Anishinaabe. While we meet today on a virtual platform, we would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands on which we each call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of the local Indigenous peoples and their cultures. From coast to coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all the Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people that call this land home.
Welcome to Canadore College's Holistic Orientation and Mentoring Experience. We are thrilled to have you here. Today's session, Getting Off to the Right Start, brings together a panel of experts from admissions, financial aid, and pathways offices to guide you through the exciting beginning of your journey. This session is specifically designed for students who will be attending the College Drive or Commerce Court campus. So let's dive into this enriching experience together and set the stage for an incredible time at Canadore College.
For today's session, our panelists consist of Andrea Black, Financial Aid Officer, Angela Catahan, Associate Registrar, and Jonathan Cranston, Pathways Officer. We also have an additional support who are behind the scenes monitoring the Q&A and answering any questions that are submitted today.
So get ready for an exciting session all about admissions, financial aid, and credit transfers at Canadore College. If you've got questions about departments or services, don't worry, we've got you covered. There will be another table talk session or other table talk sessions to cover all your questions, plus orientation videos you can explore on the Canadore Orientation website, which will be shared in the chat. We know we've got a bunch of eager attendees, so to keep things organized, we'll be using Q&A feature. Your questions will be answered and everyone can see them for added insight. If you want to be discreet, feel free to ask anonymously. Remember to keep questions and comments respectful and appropriate. This session is being recorded and a copy of the chat transcript will be made available.
We'll kick off this session by diving into some of the most frequently asked questions that we have received over the years. We'll cover all the key topics that you've been curious about, and after that, we'll turn our attention to the Q&A chat box and make sure to address any additional questions that you may have. So get ready to have your questions answered and make the most of this engaging and interactive session.
Sorry, could you please give me 1 second there? There we go. All right, so let's start with financial aid. Andrea, question is for you. What is OSAP and am I eligible to apply?
Okay, so OSAP is Ontario Student Assistance Program is a financial aid program that can help you pay for college or university. Can assist you with costs for tuition, books, equipment, living expenses, and childcare. It offers grants, money you don't need to pay back, and loans. When you apply, you'll automatically be looked at for both grants and loans, and you'll be given an assessment on how much funding you'll be able to receive. And sorry, what was the other question? Oh, the eligibility?
Yes.
Okay, sure. So you need to be a Canadian citizen, a permanent resident, or a protected person to be eligible to apply.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Second question is, if I'm not eligible for OSAP, what are my options?
So you can go to a bank and ask for a student line of credit. A student line of credit is when you borrow money, you're only paying interest on the money you borrow at some financial institutions. We also have scholarships and bursaries on our website. The bursaries open October 1st and our scholarships open November 1st.
Thank you. How can I budget my money for the school year so I don't run out? Do you have any budgeting tips?
Sure. So building a realistic budget for yourself by listing all your income, monthly expenses for the school year, such as rent, food, clothing. Tips such as eating meals at home instead of eating out and bringing your own coffee every day. To plan meals ahead of time and grocery shopping using no-name brands instead of store brands. You can also show your student card at certain places and they will give you an extra discount.
All right. And one last question from me.
Sure.
What is the best way to find out more information about financial aid?
So we update our website regularly. If you go to Canadore College under support, paying for college, you'll see the bursary scholarship link in there as well.
Thank you very much.
And I can put it in the chat here too. Oh, somebody already did.
Okay, next up, we've got some pathway questions for you, Jonathan. So first up, what is a credit transfer?
First of all, hello, everyone, and welcome. And I hope you are eagerly anticipating your upcoming semester here at Canadore. We're very, very glad to see you, hear from you, and exciting to be receiving you this upcoming semester. When it comes to credit transfer, essentially what it is recognizing prior post-secondary learning that you've already completed, whether that be at Canadore, if you're coming already with us and you're entering a new program at Canadore, or if you're joining us and you've previously been at another institution, either domestically here in Ontario or Canada, or even internationally. It's looking at learning you've done previously at the post-secondary level that is similar or the same to what you're going to be doing in your new program. And when there is that connection, it becomes a question of, is there an ability to seek an exemption from a course or courses based on learning you've already done? We're trying to make sure that you have a well-rounded educational experience, but I think everyone would agree that no one likes to do the same thing twice if we've already done it once and done well at it. And credit transfer is kind of a process that allows us to recognize and honor that prior learning that you've done.
Fantastic. Next up, so how do we know, like, if our credits will transfer from a post-secondary institution? How do we know if they'll transfer over to Canadore?
Okay, so this one's a little bit tricky. One of the biggest guidelines, though, is reviewing the course learning outcomes. Course hours are important. When we're trying to say two courses are the same, I don't think you would agree that a 28-hour course and a 56-hour course are the same. There's a big hour discrepancy, but two 42-hour or 42 and a 56, the hours are good. But what really counts is the course learning outcomes. So what a student needs to do is look at the Canadore College course outline for any of the courses that they are going to be taking, and those are all accessible through the program pages on our website, and all of them are free and easily accessible for you to read and see what you're going to be doing. And then you compare that to the course outline from the prior learning you've done. And what you want to do is look at those course learning outcomes. And if you see that there's a similarity of, as a guideline, about 80% or more, the more the better, then there's probably a good case to pursue it. In any event, a subject matter expert would officially have to review those to declare whether they're approved or denied for credit transfer. But for you to know, is this worth going after? You kind of do that self-check and you compare those outlines and go, Math 1-2-3 at Canadore is just like Math 1-2-3 when I was at Humber. And when you look at those outcomes, if a lot of them are the same, then it might be worthwhile going after. If you look at it and there's like hardly any connection, then it's probably not worth your time. So there is an onus on the student to be aware of the learning they've done. You're the one that did it. And then looking to see what you're going to do. And if there's some obvious connections there, then it might be worth going after.
Excellent. Thank you so much. How and when can students apply for credit transfers?
So credit transfers can be applied. You can apply for them any time of year. My best advice when it comes to applying is to try and do it all early and at the same time. The way we work it, and I'll apologize, Jill, if I'm jumping ahead for a question you're going to prompt me next, but we do have some fees associated with credit transfer. And as a student, fees is your life and your reality. So whenever we can try and save you some money, it's ultimately very, very important. So the best advice I can give you is if you're able to do all of your credit transfers at the same time, it's going to cost you a lot less money. We charge you $25 for one application in a semester, and then $50 for 2 or more. So whether that's 2 applications or 7 applications or 12 applications, the cost is $50. The catch is every semester, those fees reset. So some students go, well, I'm going into my first semester. I'm just going to go after my semester 1 credit transfers, and I'll do semester 2 the next one. Your option, your choice, obviously, but what's going to happen is every semester, we're going to charge you $25 or $50 every semester when you apply versus doing them all at the same time. So that gives you not only a cost savings, but it gives you course certainty. You know early in your program exactly what courses am I going to get out of and which ones do I have to take. So there's a dual benefit to doing it early before you come. So yes, definitely it can be done anytime. During the summer months while faculty vacation is happening, so that's typically mid-June to mid-August, there are no reviews. That is a period where you can still submit your applications, submit your supporting documents. So when faculty return, you will get priority treatment and get your results before the next semester starts. But outside of that 2-month window, applications are being reviewed at all times throughout the semesters.
Okay, thank you. That's very clear and very important to note. Last up, what does a student need to apply for a credit transfer? So beyond the fees, I guess.
Excellent. Yeah, so documentation. It's all about document. You say you did it, you think you did it, you think you don't have to do it again, prove it. And the only way you can do that is by supplying supporting documentation, which includes an official transcript. Okay, we will not accept a transcript from a student, so it must come directly from your prior post-secondary education institution. So whether you've supplied OCAS with that and we can access it, or if you have to make arrangements with your prior school to have it sent electronically to me or to our admissions office, or if they won't do electronic, a paper copy, we're seeing less of that now as the years go on. We do need an official transcript that proves the grade that you got. And then the big factor is, of course, the course outline that I spoke about before. That's the document that proves you learned what you think you say you learned and what you think you don't need to be repeating. So that course outline needs to be included, and that can actually be attached right to the credit transfer application form. And as I see in the chat, we've already got some of the links that will help you find the forms and supplementary information about credit transfer, and also as well my contact information, so you can reach out at any time. As the information overload happens and you forget everything I've just said for the last 6 minutes, you can always send me an email and I'm happy to follow up with any questions you might have during or after this session.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jonathan.
You're quite welcome.
All right, let's move on to admissions questions, specifically registration questions first. So, Angela, when does registration begin, and what if I'm unavailable to register at that time?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this session, and we're looking forward to seeing you in the winter. So an email did go out this week about registration. So it's a preliminary email. And in there was all the instructions on when your window to register is open. So the first registration window will be opening on December the 12th, which is next Tuesday, and will remain open for 10 days into the semester. So that's up to January the 19th. Aviation program is a little bit different. So that campus registration will close on the first day of classes, since there's hours that need to be committed to. But December 12th is the day that registration opens for all students.
How do I register for classes? What happens if I have issues when I'm registering?
So in the registration email, you'll receive a link to self-service with instructions on how to log in. So there'll be a video embedded within the email that you can review before the window opens, so that you're clear on the process of registering. Once you register, you will receive your schedule. But in the meantime, if you are having issues, in that email, there's times for Zoom sessions. So there'll be drop-in Zoom sessions going on every day during registration that you can drop into anytime, and somebody will be on a Zoom call to assist you through the process.
All right, thank you. Very useful about the Zoom sessions. So next question is about student number. Where can I find it? What is my student number and where can I find it?
So your student number is your unique identifier here at Canadore College. Every student has one. You would have received your student number on your offer letter or your LOA.
Right. And do I need to pay my full tuition before I can register? And how do I submit a payment?
Okay, so yes, you will have to make a full payment before you can register. Obviously, there are students that may be on OSAP or sponsored. So as long as you have completed your OSAP application or your sponsor letter is been submitted to the college, then you will be permitted to go through and register. To make a payment, if you haven't made a payment before registration, a window will come up to let you know what payment is due. At that time, if you are paying for your own fees, and you can pay there, or you can pay through self-service now, or you can pay through your bank.
All right, thank you. Next question, how do I get a student card and bus pass? Can I opt out? And how long is my bus pass active for?
Okay, so every student receives a digital bus pass. So an email will be sent to you with a link to it. It is mandatory. You cannot opt out of the bus pass. And that email will be going out shortly. The bus pass will become active on the first day of classes and will be active for a full year.
All right, thank you. Next question, how do I get a letter for RESPs?
Currently, you can email the admissions office at admissions@canadorecollege.ca, and we will provide you with an intent to register letter.
Perfect. Final question, where and how do we get enrollment letters?
Enrollment letters, once you're registered, then you can get your enrollment letter. So after registration, you can go back into self-service, and in the self-service menu, you can request your enrollment letter, and the enrollment letter will be directly emailed to you.
Oh, thank you.
All right, Ange, just a couple more for you, now related to class schedule and program delivery.
Okay.
So first up, how and when will we get a class schedule, and do students choose their own schedule?
So your schedule will be made available to you once you go through the registration process. The only option that you have is to pick the block of courses that are assigned to you for that semester. And the only options that you'll be able to make are those of the general education courses, and those will appear in the registration process once you're picking your block. So if there's an assigned general education block to that semester, then you'll have the option to pick it then. And then once you submit your choices, then you will receive your schedule at the end of that process.
Okay, fantastic. How can a student tell if their class is going to be online or in person?
So when you take a good look at your schedule, and once you've gone through and submitted your registration, you will have a copy of your schedule available to you, and you can download it or print it at that point. On the schedule, you'll have the courses that you'll be taking and the times, and on there there'll be a room if you're required to be in a room face-to-face, or if there's no room like the gen eds, then that will be done remotely without having to go into class.
Okay, perfect. And last up, can I change my program before the start of class?
You can change your program, but just be aware that most of the programs will be full by the time registration opens. And so it'd be better to contact the admissions office to do this change of program, and then we could advise you on what's available available and what's not available at the time of changing your program.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That's it for your round of questions.
Thank you.
Okay, so now that we've covered all of the